Robeisy Ramirez versus Rafael Espinoza, 12 rounds in the 126-pound division for Ramirez's featherweight title. This is going to be an interesting fight for a few reasons, which we will get into. Let's start with the champion, Robeisy Ramirez, 13 wins, 1 loss, 8 wins by way of knockout. This is his third fight this year. Love the activity and the want to get back into the ring as much as possible. Ramirez has hit his stride in the recent years, especially in the professional setting after his first fight. His time is right now, and it's been showing, right? Not to mention in his last 5 fights, he stopped 4 of his opponents by some form of knockout. So he's developing into a guy who can't just outbox you, but who can hurt you and break you down. The interesting thing is this is only his third 12th round fight. The 12-round fight with Isaac Dogboe was one of his best performances to me. Isaac Dogboe is someone who's always going to bring his best, right? And when they fought, I wanted to see how Ramirez would fare against Dogboe, right? And I thought he fought beautifully. And it was a bit of a back and forth fight in the early part of the fight, but then Ramirez just turned on the switch, man. And the gap started to be a little bit more wide, and Ramirez completely started to impose his will. The boxing ability and the skill was on display, and he ended up dominating the fight. His most recent fight, he fought Satoshi Shimizu, who had a 6-inch height advantage over Ramirez. First round of that fight, man, to me, that was when Ramirez was setting up how he was going to maneuver in this fight. He was letting his hands go little by little, but he was doing things without punching that was really baiting to see how Shimizu was going to react. He would duck down, level changes to see if Shimizu was biting on any of that. How was he responding? Did he bite? Did he flinch? He didn't flinch. Did he stay? Did he commit? Did he punch? Mind games, especially in high elite sports, especially in boxing, man, plays so much into how you are going to maneuver in the fight. Ramirez was already landing punches in the first round. Shimizu had a real tight high guard, and he was trying to use his jab to keep the distance. And when he was using his jab, he was having success keeping Ramirez away and able to land some good shots of his own, but he wasn't doing too much to really discourage Robeisy Ramirez. He was biting on Ramirez's feints, and Ramirez just started going through the high guard with uppercuts, right? Started hitting the body, and you could see the speed difference between the two very early, and you knew that was going to be a factor. However, the fight went on. In the 4th round, man, which was probably Shimizu's best round, he was doing some real good work in the 4th round, man. But in the 5th round, Robeisy decided, look, it's time to let the hands go. It's time to separate. That switch turned it on. Saw an opening and started letting his hands go a lot more and caught Shimizu with a double uppercut. Boom, boom. And the second one dropped him. And Shimizu got up because he got heart. He got that will. He got that belief. But then as soon as he got up, Robeisy let his hands go a little bit more, and the ref closed out the fight, and it was over with, right? Shimizu at 37 couldn't keep up with the younger, more skillful guy, and he lost the fight. Espinosa is taller, younger, and more of a puncher than Shimizu. But just because you can do all of those things does not mean that you can beat Robeisy Ramirez, but he believes he can. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about Rafael Espinoza. 21 wins, no losses, and 18 wins by way of knockout. Except 2 of his fights so far. He's fought most of his fights in Mexico. He's fought twice this year already, and he's won both of those fights by way of knockout. Matter of fact, in his last 5 fights, he stopped them by way of knockout. He's a taller figure with a long reach, uses his jab very well. He goes to the body, and he's a patient guy. Right? He knows that at the right time, he's going to find his opening. And when the opening comes, that's when I have to let my hand go. So he's not just a guy who can punch. He's a thinker inside of the ring. He doesn't seem to ever really force his shot. He boxes with poise, right? And takes what's given to him and bides his time. Because of his reach, though, I mean, he can do things off the back foot that most people aren't, because he can get away with it, right? When he fought Rafael Rosa, it was clear as to who was the more dominant fighter and who was controlling the pace. Espinosa applied pressure, hit the body beautifully, and took his time. I think he's accurate with his punches, accurate with his placement, right? His opponent was trying to get on the inside, but Espinosa was not allowing him to do that, man. He was stepping back, creating space, and landing uppercuts and body shots, and he was able to stop a guy who had not been stopped before, and he did it in 3 rounds. It was getting ugly. It was getting ugly. It was getting ugly against Rosa. In his most recent fight, he fought Ali Wangani, who's got a record of 9 wins, 7 losses, and is 5 feet tall, right? Who was on a 5-fight losing streak to that point, and he was able to close out the show in 2 rounds. So we're going to see how he fares against Robeisy Ramirez, right? Like, he hasn't fought anybody quite like Ramirez before, who can do a bit of everything and does everything really well, right? But he does have the ability to make it tough, a tough night, because of his physical advantages. The question is always, can he do it? Will he be able to do it? We'll see on the night. So who wins? This is a great opportunity for Rafael Espinoza to showcase what he can do. Because you look at his fights and you say, man, this guy isn't too bad, man. Like, there's some potential there. And obviously he's got the physical gifts to be able to have success, as he's had in 21 fights. But from a skill standpoint and a level of competition standpoint, he's fought nobody equivalent to Robeisy Ramirez. And that's the part that is going to make it tough for him. He's going to have to think his way in and not just be dependent on his physical advantages and the fact that he can punch. I like Robeisy Ramirez to win this fight. I think the skill factor is a little bit too wide for me personally. Not saying that Espinosa can't rise to the occasion, but I haven't seen it in 21 fights. And I think Robeisy has fought tougher competition and bigger punchers, right? Ramirez showcased also that he knows how to fight taller guys who can punch. I think Robeisy is going to get it done. But again, he can't take Espinosa lightly, because you can't take any opponent lightly in boxing. One shot could change everything. I think Robeisy comes in and he wins this fight. I like Robeisy Ramirez winning this fight by decision, because I think Espinosa, he can take a punch, man. He's pretty strong, pretty durable. But I could also see a late stoppage if Robeisy goes to the body. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel. It will be greatly, greatly appreciated. We got a membership section going on the channel. I don't always get to do all the suggested videos you guys suggest in the comment section below, but if you become a member, those suggested videos rise to the top, and I will do my best to get those done for you. Or if you'd like to become a member just to support the channel, man, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated as well. Shout out to everybody that continues to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate each of you. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this time, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.